Today I want to give you guys a tour of my van. I got this van about a week and a half ago. Before I had this van, I was hauling a 10x6 trailer, 10 foot long, 6 foot wide, that was 6 foot tall also, and with a ramp, which was a good setup. I was pulling that with a Toyota Tacoma, which is just a half-ton truck, and there was quite a bit of weight. It was doing okay, but I know it was too much weight, and since it was a big trailer, it had a lot of stuff in it. Now I cut back on some of the stuff that I don't use. I pulled that for about 8 months. So in 8 months, I already know what I'm going to use and what I'm not going to use. So what I got in this van is only the stuff that I use. I think I have a pretty good setup. Now, before I get into the setup, let me explain to you what I do. I do apartment maintenance mostly. I was a maintenance technician for many years, and now I do it as a subcontractor. So most of my setup, and my customers are only apartment complexes, so most of my setup is for apartment maintenance. And I specialize more in air conditioning work, so that's what my main setup is air conditioning and plumbing. Anything that's water heaters, all that's what I do. So that's what this van's designed for. It's not so much a handyman van. I'm not set up for hanging televisions or stuff like that, but anything else, that this is a pretty good setup. Now the van's a 99. I got it for $3,000. It only has 103,000 miles on it, which is not bad for a 25-year-old van. 103,000 miles is not much for these vans. They can go for a long time. This is a 3/4 ton van, so it can carry the weight that I have in it. I asked the guy, why he was only asking for $3,000, because the van's in decent condition. AC works fine, and the guy said it's just ugly. And looking at it after I bought it, yeah, I can see why he only sold it for $3,000. So let me give you guys a tour of the van. So this is the cab. It's pretty standard for an old van. I do like that these are charging even if the ignition is off. These are still charging overnight. I know that could be a bad thing in the winter, and I'll be careful with it. I use it a lot. I do have a few shirts there because sometimes I get dirty, and I did put an LED light. Nothing fancy. The van's not fancy, so can't expect anything too fancy. I think this van didn't get a lot of wear and tear, because it got wear, but it didn't get tear because, for the year, for 25-year-old van, I think it's in pretty decent shape, at least the inside. I do have a mount. Of course, I do YouTube videos. Here, just next to me, if I get off and I'm going to look at a AC unit that's a split. I already know it's a split. I don't need a drill for something that's a split, but if I can see it's a package unit, I'll take my backpack, because I have a drill and I can take off more screws faster. So this is just my real simple setup for looking at capacitors and see what's burned out, and that just rides with me next to me. So let's start on this side. Now it is a 3/4 ton. I do need to buy some tires for it. Of course, it's a Chevy, and it's all peeling. It's 25 years old. And I wouldn't expect anything different from a van like this. I mean, it's not horribly ugly, but it's just not beautiful. Now, I do like that I have a ladder rack on this van. That's one thing I couldn't, have on my trailer. I did carry my ladder inside the trailer, but I can have bigger ladders on this thing because it's got the rack, so I do like it. Now, let's start back here, back in the back of the van. Don't mind this suitcase. Somebody gave it to me, and well, I didn't want to say no, so now I have a suitcase. Now, over towards the front, of course, everything that's up towards the front, I don't really use that much. So, dolly, that ladder, snake. I have I think everything's in here is tapes, different kinds of tapes, a light, a toilet paper for flanges, and then up here over this is a long space where I can fit 2x4s, anything like that, anything, pieces of pipe, just longer stuff. I have a few shields because I do paint apartments once in a while. Now this is a humongous box that I got at Home Depot, and it's really tight, really secured. I secured it everywhere I could. It's not going anywhere. I'm sure about that. I did have to mount it on these blocks, because obviously the tire thing is there, and it wouldn't fit any other way. So I had to mount it on this. Now inside the box, it's pretty good. In my trailer, I only had shelves like I do have on this side. Now these shelves I designed specifically for, like, on this side it's nothing but motors, and they fit, and there's no wasted space. On my trailer I had a lot of wasted space. Now with these shelves, or I'm sorry, with this box or toolbox, there is no wasted space, because now I do have to lock it all the time. Put this little thing here for my key, because, you know, driving around, these things can open. Actually, I think I had already opened it. I had done this video before, and then I had to redo it. There's some stuff that I forgot to explain, so let me open this box. I'll give a shout out to one of the managers from one of the properties, Jessica. She's the one that asked me if I was going to do a video. She says her boyfriend watches some of my videos sometimes. And so this top shelf is just pretty much miscellaneous stuff, but a lot of it's HVAC stuff. I don't know where the key went now. It's in here. Yeah. So all these different shelves are going to be different things. Outlets. Nothing in that one. This is all door stuff. Just miscellaneous stuff. I do have a GoPro in one of these. I don't really use it that much. Now, these back here are mostly HVAC stuff. There's a lot involved in air conditioning work, circuit boards, and different stuff that I carry with me. Now we're getting into the paint section. This is all paint and caulkings and stuff like that. And this is my rollers and paint brushes and stuff like that. I just got to make sure they're completely dry before I put them in here, because I don't want this van to get all stinky. With this stuff, I do have a little bit of 45-minute mud with me. Now on this side, I do have all my, this is all for drywall, mostly for drywall. There's a few stuff that's mixed in there, but mostly drywall. This is for my nail gun. Just miscellaneous stuff over here. I did install these LED lights here and up in the front, because these other lights are just too dull. You can't really see much. More HVAC stuff. And more stuff. So that's this side. Like I said, these I attach really good. This is, of course, my paint bucket. The poles are up here in there somewhere. And this is just more stuff. I have my nail gun, a oscillating tool, and some more stuff. Now on this, I'll show you guys that side in a minute. This is a pipe bender for HVAC. Of course, my recovery machine, my pump. This is all stuff for when I change compressors or TX valves or anything like that. I don't really have my my torches in the van anymore. I use a lot of what I do. With MAP gas now, just a MAP torch. It works out good for me. Only when I do TX valves and stuff like that, I gotta, you know, throw in my torches. But I don't carry I don't carry them with me all the time. So that's all. That side, I think it's condenser fan motors, and this side's all blower motors. Then I have all kinds of sprays and chemicals and stuff like that. That's just a bucket. It's always good to have a bucket. You never know what you need a bucket for. So I did make space for a bucket. I want to make sure I had that. Got my toolbox there. Just regular tools. 410 recovery tank. Now for my tanks, I had to build this shelf. That's all these shelves are slanted, so these tanks can't fall out. Oh, I just built it out of wood, and it worked out pretty good. I do utilize all the spaces. I don't have a lot of space in this van, so this is all just different HVAC stuff. This is my leak detector. Now on this side, well, so here in between these two, I have a 25 inches, which means I can fit either a 20 or 30 gallon water heater, sometimes a 40 gallon, 30 and 40 gallon water heaters, no problem. From back here, if I move that dolly that's over there and the ladder to the side, I can fit a 12-foot baseboard, no problem. I can fit you know, sheets of plywood or sheetrock in here, no problem, and a water heater. So I make sure that nothing's here. This is nothing. This is just a plate that I bought. I'll show you guys why I bought that in a minute. Now over on this side, I do have a couple of ladders. Well, I think this is a 12-foot ladder, just an extension ladder that I use for one-story buildings. Some gloves, my plank ladder, 100-foot hose for when I wash coils, then a little 4-foot hose for when I drain water heaters that are already outdoors. I do have my nitrogen tank here. I use a lot of nitrogen when I clear condensation lines. I don't put a lot of pressure on them, but I do use it. And so I have different fittings for when I do that on condensation lines. I got a couple of ammo boxes here. I just put stuff in there. So I do use my MAP gas a lot. Like I said, I'm doing compressors and stuff like that with that. I know somebody's gonna criticize me. It works fine. I've never had an issue, so I'm not too worried about what somebody's gonna say. I do have torches, but not in here. On this side, of course, I have my extension cords. I did take the door panels off. Some gloves. I carry a drill here that, you know, I always need a drill handy. Of course, I gotta have my refrigerant scale. Some ties for ductwork. Pencils and markers right there. I didn't have anywhere else to put them, but I always want to know where I can find a pencil. And that's it. That's this side. I still got to show you guys the other two sides, so still got some more to see. So now, that's this side. I did paint the interior of my windows. I spray painted so that nobody can see. You can see it's the spray paint ran in there, but who cares? From the outside, it doesn't look like anything happened. So now on the side of the van, this side, I did put another box, which is really attached really good. Down here I have my drop cloths. Gotta have those for almost for anything I do. This is all screws and bolts. Batteries, these are my charged batteries. These are the batteries that need to get charged. Some more so this side is mainly plumbing, so you'll see a lot of plumbing tools now. All these are all plumbing. I do a lot of plumbing, water heaters and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good setup, plumbing. I do have my field piece digital gauges. I usually gauge these gauges on newer AC units that really require fine tuning. The older units are, you know, I can almost hear the compressor and almost just for that I can tell where it's at. I do have a smaller shop vac with me. There's a little vacuum here, a battery operated DeWalt vacuum that I can use on smaller projects just to clean around. Now this bag is for when I do turns. So I have stuff for like rags and screwdrivers and stuff like that when I paint apartments. This is my plumbing bag. So everything in here is for plumbing. So mainly I just grab this bag. If it's a plumbing situation, I grab this bag and it should be okay. That's this side. It's a pretty decent setup, I think. Well, the van is old and creepy and creaky and all that, but I think it's okay. Now you're gonna find these electrical outlets here and in the back. I don't really use them. What happens is this van had a compressor. Sorry, a generator, not a compressor. As you can see, this door is pretty rotted. I need to fix that. That's what I wanted, that diamond plate. I'm gonna put some diamond plate over this thing just to make it look a little better. Now this side is real missing. This chain is broke here. I just need to attach it. So this side, I love this side because this is where I do most of my HVAC repairs out of. So this is my Vito bag, and of course I have, you know, my regular HVAC tools that I use. I've done videos on this before. Now here, this is I have a better Fluke multimeter. These are all specialty tools that I use for gas valves and stuff like that. Thermostats, contactors, relays, and that kind of stuff in there. this is appliance repair. So I do have quite a bit. This is all. This goes in here. This is for sealing leaks. All contactors right there. Different size contactors. Do have my pad. I don't want to mess up my pants all the time. The knees, ties, and for changing roller motors and cleaning coils and all that kind of stuff. So that's basically my van setup. This is pretty cool here. I carry this charger that's solar. So when I'm up on the roof and I want to listen to music or videos, I don't worry about my phone discharging because I got a phone charger here and I can have it with me. This is to get 120 volts out of a 240. Shouldn't use that, but I do. Anyways, that's my van setup. Hope you guys liked it. Like I said, I'm not a plumber or an HVAC tech. I do a little bit of everything, and this is my setup. See you guys in the next video.